A single static discharge can destroy a microchip worth hundreds of dollars, and most of the time you won't even notice when the failure happens. In this video I will show you how to build a proper ESD protection setup at home, almost the same as what is used in electronics manufacturing. In one of my previous videos, I explained what static electricity is and how it appears, the link in the description. Today I will continue this topic, and together with you we will build protection against static electricity in our workplace, where we solder and repairing electronics. The main idea of protection against static electricity is simple: creating a unified space with the same electrical potential, where any static charge that appears slowly flows to the ground through an electrostatic discharge grounding system, ESD. The key word is slowly, without a spark. Charge generation around us and on our bodies happens constantly. If we don't eliminate static electricity in our working area, that will lead to sparks and damaged PCB components. In this diagram I have drawn the main components of protection that we will build today. A verified building grounding bus connecting to our ESD system through ESD outlet, grounded table, grounded equipment, grounded outlet for gloves and wrist strap. In electronics manufacturing, ESD rope and special shoes are also used, but for home soldering, a wrist strap and mat are usually enough. In production facilities, there is also an ESD floor, humidity around 50% and air temperature around 21 degrees of Celsius or 70 degrees of Fahrenheit. It is necessary to make sure that the grounding outlets in your house or apartments actually works and is not just present. If you are not confident in the reliability of the existing grounding, it may make sense to create your own grounding bus. In a private house, you can install a separate grounding electrode outside, but its installation must comply with electrical regulation in your country. A copper wire with a cross-section of AVG12 connects between outside electrode to the grounding contact of the nearest wall outlet, where you will connect your equipment: soldering station, oven, preheater, light, and ESD outlet. This path is not easy for many people, but no one said it would be easy. I believe in you and your electrician friend. How do you check if grounding is present in apartment or house? If you plan to open the outlet, first turn off electricity breaker. If you don't understand how to do this, contact an electrician. For testing, I use a circuit tester that can be found in any electrical store. I plug it into the outlet and see two orange indicators. I compare them with the table on the device. The right indicator shows the presence of the grounding bus in the outlet. The central indicator shows the correct wiring polarity. This is how it should be. For example, I disconnect the grounding wire from the outlet and check again with the circuit tester. As you can see, the right indicator is now off, which means there is no grounding. Okay, and right now I must connect the grounding wire to the outlet, just as it before. I assume that everything in the building is connected correctly and the grounding is real. Now I will use this outlet to power my workplace, including all equipment and ESD protection circuit. Next step, connecting to the ESD outlet. Before starting assembly, I recommend buying the following stuff: ESD outlet with a built-in 1 Megaohm resistors, ESD strap grounding kit with multiple banana connectors, ESD grounding cable with banana jacks, ESD outlet for installing to the table, ESD mat. The 1 Megaohm resistor in each line of the ESD plug is not there by accident. It limits the discharge current. Because of this, the charge flows away slowly and safely, without the spark and without the risk of PCB damaging. Work table can be made from different materials. They are usually metal, but at home you can also use a wooden table. A wooden table does not need to be grounded. However, do not use plastic tables, because plastic is a good generator of static charges, exactly what we are trying to delete. This is extension cord for the table, and this is ESD plug with 1 Megaohm resistors on each line. On the back side, only ground pin. My next step, installing this ESD outlet with banana connectors to the table. No resistors, just outlet. This is extension cord for banana jack. Right now I need to connect this extension cord with banana jack and this ground wire for the connecting to the ESD outlet on the wall. For best connection you can solder this wire. And right now I connect banana jack to the ESD outlet. Alright. The foundation of the workplace is the ESD mat, on which all manipulation with print circuit boards take place. This is not just a rubber mat. It is made from materials from specific electrical resistance so that any charge appearing on the mat slowly flows to the grounding bus through the outlets. I also connect the mat to the ESD outlet on the table. Wrist strap. Before starting work, I always put on an ESD strap and connect it to ESD outlet under the table. The wrist strap provides electrical connection between human body and the grounding system. The human body is always in motion and generates charges through friction, which must be removed in real time. Next topic, ESD gloves. ESD gloves perform two functions. They protect components and the print circuit boards from hands grease contamination and prevent the direct spark transfer from the hands to the PCB. How does ESD cladding work? Antistatic gloves, caps and rope contain very thin metallic threads sewn into the fabric. These threads allow newly generated charges to flow along the surface to the grounding point. These grounding points are the ESD wrist strap and ESD shoes. In the production facilities, even the floor is antistatic. The charges also flow to the grounding through the floor. Regular cladding, especially synthetic fabrics, can generate a large amount of static charges. Therefore, wool and synthetic materials are better avoided to reduce frictions and the generation of static charges on the surfaces. Next point, ESD shoes. The sole of ESD shoes is made from electrically conductive materials. When a person stands on the ESD floor in the manufactory, any charges flow from the body through the shoes into the floor and finally into the ground. This way a person continuously discharges while moving. Protection from static charges is a complete system. If even one element is missing, the protection may be ineffective. For example, an ESD wrist strap without connection to ground is useless, even if someone says otherwise. It is hard to argue with physics. An ESD mat without grounding is also useless. Equipment for soldering that is not grounded can cause the discharge through the soldering iron tip while you are soldering. Therefore, everything must be connected to the grounding point of the workplace. Equipment is grounded through the built-in ground in the power outlet, while mats, tables and wrist straps are connected to the grounding through 1 Megaohm resistors inside ESD plug. For home use, we have created a reasonably good ESD system. I also want to add that humidity and air temperature are extremely important, especially in manufacturing. Dry air, especially in cold regions, does not conduct electrical charges. As a result, charge accumulation zones appear throughout the room, on object and equipment. To prevent charge accumulation, the air must contain moisture, which acts as a carrier of electrical charges. Humidifying the air to about 50% and maintaining air temperature of around 21 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit allows static charges to flow to ground through any grounded objects. This creates an even safer environment. ESD protection is not just a wrist strap and a mat. It is a complete system where every element performs its function. Only when everything is connected correctly can static charges safely flow to ground. This is exactly how electronic components are protected in electronic manufacturing and your table. And now you also know how to create such a system at home with a minimal budget. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, write your comments and questions. Support my channel on Patreon. For those who want to use high quality soldering fluxes, you will find links to my diamond flux products in the description. Diamond fluxes can be purchased online through Amazon, Walmart and DGK. Thank you for watching. See you next video.